Hi, Rebecca. I won't drink coffee now because I guess some of your friends told some of my friends that you have some sort of there's like sexual connotations connected to coffee for you. So that's weird. But I guess what we're talking about here is kind of just respecting each other's viewpoints and feelings. So you might not necessarily agree or understand, but you want to accommodate. So I won't drink coffee with you, Rebecca. Not going to drink coffee with you. I mean, it's just a cup of coffee, but just whatever. So, Rebecca, Jesus, I forgot what I was going to talk to you about. Oh, I remember now. It's your hair. Rebecca, you often bring up your hair. Your hair comes up in conversation a lot. Rebecca, you have nicknames for your hair. And here's the thing, like when we're all hanging out with our buddies and you start talking about your hair, you might talk about your hair for a long time. And here's what it kind of seems like to me, Rebecca, and to a lot of us. You're just trying to keep us from talking. Because why else would you talk about your hair for a really long time? You're kind of like, you're in between topics. You're not quite sure what to say. So, Rebecca, you just start talking about your hair. And I noticed a couple people when you first started doing it, a couple people said like, oh yeah, and like they started to talk about like, what they think of as good hair treatment or a good place to get their hair cut. And you kind of like raised your voice a little bit, talked over them, and when they stopped talking, you dropped it down to normal thing. So you're kind of just saying like, no. I, Rebecca, am talking about hair. Not you, Tammy. Not you, John. Me, Rebecca. And I gotta tell you, like, I personally can't listen to a lot of hair talk. This is probably the longest I've ever talked about hair. Oh, and actually, that's the other point too. It's like after you end up leaving, we all end up talking about you talking about your hair, and I'm like, oh my God, this just keeps adding to the hair discussion. Like we're into like several hundred hours now of hair talk, and now we're adding another 30 minutes of it talking about like, can you believe she just keeps talking about her hair? So Rebecca, don't do that. Don't keep talking about your hair, Rebecca. I have half a mind to start just talking about the weather every time you do it. And every time you raise your voice, I'll just raise my voice. It rained yesterday, but it was sunny too. Isn't that weird? You need a rain jacket and sunglasses. Just yammering, just releasing the clutch on my brain and slamming down on the gas pedal and just letting whatever occurs in my mind just come shooting out my mouth. Rebecca, just kind of senseless talk, pointless talk of no value, Rebecca. So yeah, don't do that. Don't do that, Rebecca. Enough with the hair, all right? No more about the hair. I'm not saying your hair's not nice. I'm just saying, like, how much are you going to talk about it? And would there ever be like a conclusion? Would you ever just say, and that's all I have to say about my hair? My mother said that hair was hair was like a box of chocolates. Yeah, it's not. It's just hair. That's actually dead, Rebecca. As you age and as you eat different things, did you know it changes texture and composition? Like that's the only we're starting to talk about things you haven't talked about as far as your hair goes. People say, well, at least she hasn't mentioned that diet can affect your hair. Like we're starting to figure out where you might eventually start, taking this hair talk. So that's like enough, Rebecca. It's more than enough. Sometimes I think like if you don't show up, we might just start talking about the fact that you talk about your hair, and I worry about that. Like I lose sleep about it sometimes. I worry that like as time goes on, like I move to another town, I retire, I maybe I'm gonna start losing my facilities, I end up like in a retirement home, and I just kind of like, I get real lonely, and I'm not paying attention to my surroundings or anybody I'm talking to. Like, I don't really care who they are. I just want to talk at them. I'm worried I might start talking about your hair. Well, I imagine like old people starting to avoid me, but I don't care because I'm not paying attention to them. So I just like seek out other old people to talk to about your hair, and I just don't even know. I don't even know what's happening. I just don't even know. What if that's my last words? What if it's like, like that Citizen Kane thing of like, Rosebud. What if as I die I say, Rebecca's hair? And someone says, did he just say Rebecca's hair? And then someone said, yeah, he's been talking about Rebecca's hair for like 10 years now. And now he's dead. And I just pray, this is the nurse talking, I just pray that I don't start talking about Rebecca's hair. But what if she does, Rebecca? What if my nurse in my retirement home starts talking about like, just around like the break room, like, oh man, this one guy kept talking about this woman's hair. He wouldn't shut up about it. And then like other people might start mentioning that to their husbands and wives. Like someone start mentioning their hair and like, oh no, you're getting up like that crazy dude from the retirement home talking about somebody else's hair, for the love of God. I just imagine no end to it. I imagine no end to it, Rebecca. I imagine it just kind of going on for infinity. Like it'll start becoming like a Greek fable. Like hair will start to mean power, and like someone will say like, someone really powerful will have Rebecca's hair. And like when they fall, when they get like removed from office or they fail, they're like, their Rebecca's hair was cut off. That's what I'm worried about. It'll start working its way into our culture. So Rebecca, it's no more. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's no more.